Hi, this is Madhu. I'm a senior SAP functional consultant having 10 plus years of experience in SAP into these modules like PM plant maintenance and QM quality management, customer service, and PP production planning PPPI. So in these modules, for each individual course, it's going to be 45 days and 45 hours. Um, and many students ask me this question, like who is eligible to become a functional consultant? So my answer is whoever just passed out like 3 years of degree, any degree, or like BTech passed out, so they are eligible for learning SAP and to become a functional consultant. And if they have any higher degrees like MBA or any post graduation, so that is also fine. But you should at least have like a 3 years of degree, any passed out 3 years of degree or BTech. So that's the first eligibility. And here, let me give you a brief introduction about what I'm going to cover in the training course. So here you will be learning, it starts with the SAP introduction and SAP history and architecture of SAP and project types in SAP, phases in SAP, phases in SAP projects and the deliverables of functional consultant at the client side and career in SAP. And when it comes to the individual modules, so you will be learning the master data, configuration, and transactional data for that particular module, and also non-standard functionality knowledge like how to develop, how to write functional specifications. So let's just start with like about all these elements individually. So this is like a SAP ERP history, and SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Products in Database Processing. And here it was invented by Germany company SAP SE in 1992, but the name was SAP R3 in 1992, but later it was changed to SAP ERP in 2004. And here ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. And if anyone asks like what is the current version in SAP ERP as of today, so it is 6.0 EHPI. So what is 6.0? 6.0 was introduced in 2016 and it is still like 6.0 only. But if there is any additional functionality changes or modifications in 6.0, SAP is releasing them in the form of enhancement package. The current enhancement package is EHPI. So it is basically SAP ERP 6.0 and EHPI currently. This is the three-tier architecture layer for SAP. It's presentation, application, database. Just imagine what is presentation. Presentation is like it's a layer which is directly facing to and which is directly interacting with the user. So the SAP transaction codes like SAP day-to-day activity functionality, business activities, the user is interacting with the presentation layer directly. And there in the presentation layer, user is creating the data and editing the data and displaying the data. So all these data, like whenever the user is doing all these activities, the data is coming and going back to the layer, a layer which is called as a database layer. And in the database layer, the data is stored here. And between presentation layer and database layer, the application layer acts as a mediator. And for all the logics from presentation layer and for all the kind of editing and creation data and all that coding is completely incorporated into application layer. So application layer is built with coding and database layer is built with data and presentation layer is built with the functionality to interact with the user. That's about the three-tier architecture. And coming to the project types in SAP, so typically these are the four types of projects: implementation, rollout, and SAP upgradation and support projects. So what is implementation? So let's consider a company which has never used SAP, so they want to use SAP. So that kind of project is like implementation project. And rollout project is all about, so there is one company, they have branches in different countries, like 4 or 5 countries, and now they want to just start implementing the SAP in one location. If it is successful, then they roll out the same template to all other locations. So that's the that kind of project is rollout. And the third one is SAP upgradation project. Consider, imagine a company using a old version of SAP like 4.5, and they want to upgrade it to a new version like SAP 6.0. So in that case, they have to go through this SAP upgradation project path. And thus coming to the fourth one, support project. Support project is like, you know, they have already implemented. The company has already implemented or already did the rollout or already did the upgradation, but later they will have some issues or concerns or bugs in the system. So in order to rectify all those kind of issues, so they need the help of the consultants, and in that case they create the tickets and assign it to the consultant, and consultant will resolve the issue and provide the solution to the customer. and then the ticket will be closed. So that is like support project. In any typical organization, the organization structure is going to be like this: the company codes, plans, storage, location. Let me give you a good example here. Let's take the Reliance as an example, just as an example. And it's a company brand, and under that, based on the industrial sector, they will have like a textile, oil and gas, geo, and all these are the different companies. So one company, there's a brand, and under that you have like different companies. And within each company, because for if you take like Geo, Reliance Geo, they are manufacturing Geo mobiles, right? So they should definitely have a plant to manufacture them. So under that company, they have plants, more than one plant or one plant, and for each plant to store the inventory, they should have some storage location. So it's more like the hierarchy is going to be like this: company, under the company will have as many as companies, and under each company you will have plants, and under each plant you will have the storage locations. So this is about the project phases. So project phases is about like 5 phases here. What is project phases? So take any project type like implementation, rollout, or upgradation, not the support. So in the first three, implementation, rollout, upgradation, typically you are going to see these 5 phases in any project. So let's start with the project initial preparation. What is this? So we have to, as a functional consultant, we should sit with the client and we should take all the requirements from them. Like in the requirement gathering, we should learn, and also we should document like how they are currently practicing or how they are currently executing the business processes in their current system, non-SAP systems. So, and then once we are done with this initial preparation, so we should document it in a blueprint document. And here in the blueprint document, we should provide as is process and a to be solution, as is like how they are currently doing that in the non-SAP system. And in the to be section, we should write down like how this can be done. This is going to be done in SAP. So it's to be is more like a solution in SAP. So once the client sign off or approves this blueprint, the next phase is like realization. The realization system building is going to happen. This is what is system building. So as per the blueprint, so we defined the to be process, right? So how it can be done in SAP. So to support it, so in the realization phase, we should like as a functional consultant, we should build the system like in terms of the configuration and also the development, and we should and create some master data, and we should perform some transactional data. And it's all about like unit testing and integration testing and user acceptance testing. All these kind of testings are involved into realization phase. And once the realization is completed in the final preparation, so the transports are moved from development system to production system. And the transports having, they carry the configuration from development to production, and we should load the master data in production system directly. And also we should work on the role matrix, roles and authorization. So once this is completed, final preparation phase is completed, and the next phase is like go live. Go live is the point where the time when like the client stopped using their non-SAP system and they start using their SAP systems, and that is about the go live. So once the users start using the SAP, it's like a new environment, new world, right? So definitely they will have some kind of fear, or like they are scared. Some users are scared of using the new systems, and so in order to I mean take off that all kind of problems and issues, then consultants will be there like 1 or 2 weeks, and they will provide some kind of support. It's like a hypercare, just taking care of baby in a hypercare, right? So it's almost like taking care of the system, and I mean new implementation or rollout or upgradation in the hypercare phase. That's about the hypercare phase. And project deliverables. So these are the documents normally as a functional consultant, you have to deliver it to your clients. So requirement gathering document, blueprint, functional specification. I just explained about requirement gathering and blueprint, but functional specification is something. So whenever there is some non-standard functionality in SAP, we should document the requirement in the functional specification document, and we should provide it to the ABAP or the developer. So they will code the, I mean, they use the ABAP coding to meet that new non-standard functionality. So that's about the functional specification document. And test scripts is all about, like say in the testings, unit testing or like integration or user acceptance testing. So we should write down some test steps to how to run the business, right? Business processes, different scenarios. So that kind of script is called as test script. And in the test scripts, like everything steps are written with these instructions like what to do, what to do, and what is the expected result. and there like unit testing, integration testing, and user acceptance testing can be done based on the test scripts. And the last one is like training documents. Most of the clients, they never ask you the training document, but if they ask, so you have to provide it. So training document is like a template, so where you have to provide instructions like with screenshots how to use so and such T codes. So that will help the business to train their users. That's about these deliverables of the project in your as a functional consultant. And this is about the career in SAP. As I just mentioned, so you should at least have like a BTech completion, or like a passed out, or like a 3 years degree passed out, or if you have any other higher degrees, that is also okay. And here you can try for any MNC companies like Accenture, Cognizant, IBM, Wipro, Tech Mahindra, etc. And also apart from these, like mid-level companies and low, like startup companies, they also running up. With my experience, I'm saying like they are also having contacts with the clients, and they're running some SAP projects. So they have like a lot of opportunities for SAP consultants, like especially in plant maintenance, PM and QM and customer service and PPPI modules, along with the other modules in SAP. That's about the introduction, and we ended with the career in SAP. Okay, so now I'm going to discuss. So in SAP plant maintenance module, first let's start with what is plant maintenance. So plant maintenance is a module in SAP, and plant maintenance is a department in the client. So now that department is going to use this plant maintenance module. So what exactly this plant maintenance department they do in their day-to-day business activities? That's the first thing. So now imagine a automobile company, they are manufacturing cars, and the cars are being manufactured with machines, right? So in those machines, like if they have some issues and sudden breakdown, and then that will definitely impact the production. The production is completely stopped, and it will have negative impact on the customer. I mean, and the business, right? Because they cannot deliver it to, the products to the customer in the promised date. So definitely it will have impact on the production. So to avoid all kind of issues, the plant maintenance department should be always there. So it's very simple. Like in your home, you have electric system, right? So you have like lights, AC, and all that stuff. Okay. So if there is a problem, if you're living in an apartment, so if you have any issues, so you will definitely call the maintenance, and the maintenance, they will send the electrician. So that means they have a department like electrician department, and they come into the picture whenever you have an issue with some electricity kind of stuff in your apartment. In the same way, if there is a problem with the machine, any machine in the plant, the manufacturing area, the plant maintenance department will dispatch the technician to the respective machine, and the technician will repair it and eliminate the issue. So let's discuss what are the major business scenarios in plant maintenance department. So corrective maintenance, breakdown, preventive, and calibration and refurbishment process. So let me talk about corrective maintenance first. What is corrective maintenance? So there is one machine. It has some issue. That problem is not that really severe, but the machine is still working, and it doesn't have, it not have any impact on the production. Okay, but the problem has to be eliminated, right? Okay, let's simplify it. A machine is identified with an issue, with a low severity issue or medium severity, where the machine is still working, but with some it's working, but it's not stopping the production. But the problem still has to be resolved, right? So in that case, the steps that are followed by plant maintenance department to resolve that issue, that collectively called as corrective maintenance. Okay, and then there is like a breakdown maintenance. Second one, it's completely opposite to corrective maintenance in terms of the severity. Now there is a machine that is identified with a problem that's completely, machine is completely broke down and completely production is stopped, right? So in that case, how PM department approaches and the steps are taken by PM department collectively, that is called as breakdown maintenance. And preventive maintenance is like, this maintenance is a periodical maintenance for every 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, periodically changing some oil, changing filter, changing paint, changing bolts for a particular machine to avoid sudden breakdowns, right? To avoid corrective maintenances. So that kind of maintenance is called as preventive maintenance. Here, preventive maintenance is not starting with an issue or problem. So it is like periodically the work order is created in the system, and the technician will go and he perform like changing oil, changing filters periodically, right? So that's about the preventive maintenance. And coming to the calibration, checking with, like periodically checking for every 1 month or for every 2 months whether the machine is properly working or not. And say for example, if you have a thermometer at your home, like any thermal meter which measures the temperature, like for the fever, and how do you know that that is properly working or not? Just think about it, okay? But when you buy it, the manufacturer provides you some kind of reference, like, okay, in any case for every 1 month or 2 months, so just test it, like whether this is working or not. They will provide you some kind of solid solutions or any other kind of chemicals which where the temperature of those solutions are not changed with the impact of environmental conditions, like any -degrees or a high temperature. So in that case, you can rely on that solution. Just dip your thermometer into that, and the whatever the temperature is labeled on that solution, if it matches with your thermometer, then that's like the thermometer is properly working. That kind of process is like a calibration. So what is calibration? Measuring the actual conditions and whether it is working properly or not with the predefined condition. That's all about like calibration. And what is the refurbishment process? Just like imagine a machine is there. A machine consists of three spare parts, A, B, C. For some reason, spare part B has completely gone into some issue, and now take up that spare part B out of that machine and perform some repair on that one, and put back into the machine. Okay, so now that repair process, the process of repairing that spare part is called as refurbishment process. And here, this is like corrective maintenance I just explained, right? So like low severity problem, and there is no production impact, but the problem has to be resolved. And in that case, the steps are collectively called as corrective maintenance. And breakdown is more like high severity, the completely production is stopped, and in that case, breakdown maintenance process is approached. And preventive maintenance is like there is no any issue, but periodically PM department performs some kind of activities on the machine to avoid sudden breakdowns in the future. And calibration is all about, there are like predefined specifications for any machine performance, and so the QM quality inspectors will go and perform this calibration at the machine. And refurbishment is all about like repairing the spare parts. And this is like a master data. These are the master data in SAP PM. You are going to learn functional location, equipment, work center, task list, maintenance plan, and measurement points and counters and characteristics. So what is functional location? So functional location is like grouping all the machines together and giving it a name. So it's a functional location, and the individual machines in that functional locations are all called equipments. Okay, and the work center is all about like labor who works on corrective maintenance or breakdown, like any preventive maintenance process for that particular machine. And now task list is all about like predefined operations with the components. For these task lists are helpful mainly in the preventive maintenance. And maintenance plans we have like single, strategic, and multi-counter. And here in the maintenance plans, again we have like time based and performance based. And in the last one is measurement points and counters and characteristics. So coming to the configuration, so you are going to learn the configuration for function locations, equipments, and notifications and work orders, and also work center, task list, maintenance plans, and measurement points and counts and characteristics. And coming to the master data, transactional data in PM, this is the main master data to run every day-to-day business activities for the client. Notification, work order, measurement document, work order confirmations, and purchase requisitions and reservations. Yeah, that's all about the plant maintenance, configuration, master data, transactional data. And apart from this, so you will get some guidelines on how to write a function specification for a non-standard functionality also. Yeah, this is like a 45 days of course for the plant maintenance, and like 1 hour. I mean 1 hour in a day, so it's more like 45 hours. All the best.